And we are live. Welcome back. Waffleboard breaks. Had to get the cat out the picture. Cats are exploring down here. We obviously, I told you, we got the rugs tore up and 2.5 feet, 2 feet ripped out of our sheet rock. No, actually, drywall and paneling behind it, and that's getting replaced tomorrow. Of course, we still have to pack. Haven't packed the thing. Leaving tomorrow, crack of dawn. Actually, not tomorrow, but the day after, like Saturday morning, like 3 in the morning for Florida with the family for a week. A bunch of us, I think 13 people are going. So it's a big group trek down to Florida, the annual Disney trek. Obviously, it'll be hot no matter what. It's hot here. It's going to be hot there. Of course, it rains, half hour every day in the Florida, so it'll be fun. We're used to going down there at the same time. Obviously, school's out, so the kids and grandkids are all able to make it. So we're taking a break here. Obviously, just get a nice little reset. Of course, the draft starts tomorrow, so it's been a pretty crazy week with trades. A lot of money getting thrown around. The trades are still coming, but the big free agents are signing. Obviously, Alex Tuck, big money. Not say whether or not it's a good deal or not, but I mean, it's he's a great player. I mean, up to 7 or 8 million, but anything above that is going to be. I mean, I'm not sure if he's that kind of player, but he's a great player. I mean, obviously watching him play in his home state, obviously with Buffalo, he was a key member of that team's resurgence. I'm not saying he's irreplaceable, but he's kind of like a little bit of everything kind of guy with some talent. And like you said, it seems to be a lot of money for these guys on the open market right now. Bowen Byram obviously dealt to Chicago for their first round pick. So that he got like 10 million, that's pretty absurd. And like I said, he's a 7.5, maybe 8. You can convince me of. And like I said, I mean, he's a great player because he gives you a little bit of everything. Good size, decent wheels, good hands, but 10 million is a bit much for Alex Tuck. So, but you take the money. These players got to take the money if it's offered to them. So, they were talking absurd numbers for Byram when his deal's up. I think he's at 1 year done before he's restricted, or I'm not sure what that is. I don't know if the team has control, but Chicago, of course, felt they weren't getting a defenseman. I mean, maybe they feel they're closer to contending, and they needed a player with his ability. Yeah, so that's what they're saying. I mean, he's not making that now, so obviously he's not quite his play, but obviously he's been in Colorado, he's been in Buffalo. His next contract will be the big one for him. And if they're talking that kind of money for him to be their number one in Chicago, he's never proven that he has the number one. I mean, he's got talent. He's got great wheels, good offensive skills. He's not terrible defensively, but to give somebody like that, 12.5 million. But I mean, that's what they're talking. I mean, that's the going rate. I mean, these teams are convinced, that somebody that talent, they've evaluated and they think that's the money they want to give. I mean, that maybe says more about Chicago's scouting department than it is the financial situation in the NHL, because I mean, they've drafted, high Levshinov and Rinzel, and like if those guys haven't developed to the point where they can be the number one guys, it's tough. Like, it's tough to convince your ownership group, and we got to shell out 12.5 million for a guy that's never been the number one guy. But like I said, I mean, Byron's got talent. Like, I mean, he's obviously clearly, you got Darlene and Owen Power, in front of him, and obviously Matthias Samuelsson put up great numbers this year, better offensive numbers than Byram. It might have been a little more sheltered, and maybe it's a little fluky. He's never put up numbers like that before, but it's not like, out of the realm of possibility that he could repeat that. Like I said, I mean, Byram he has taken some hits. Like you said, he's not the biggest guy, but he's got good NHL size. Like you said, he's got good wheels. I mean, everything about Byram, when you evaluate him, is the kind of guy you want as your number one, but he hasn't shown, even with the sheltered ice time or the PP time, he hasn't really shown that he can take. He's not like a great game breaker. He's not going to. He shouldn't be giving McCarr, Hughes money, Hudson money. Like I mean, even Hedman money. Like I mean, Shea Theodore or Miro. Like I don't think he's that kind of player. But I mean, he might be the best in the next tier. But I mean, that's tough if Chicago, wants to hamstring themselves with a long-term contract for a guy that hasn't proven that he can be the number one. I mean, of course, your fan base might be getting a little antsy with the Bedard. I mean, Bedard had a pretty decent year, but he's not, he's not, he's not. I think the Celebrini situation doesn't help Bedard because Bedard's development has been hampered a bit by the lack of overall offensive talent on that team. So it's Celebrini's a talented offensive player, and you surround him with similar offensive talents and top draft picks. I mean, he's a great player. He's got great wheels, great vision, great shot. But if I had to build a team right now, who do you take? Do you take Bedard or do you take Celebrini? I'm like, it's Celebrini's definitely had a bit of a more open opportunity. But Bedard still has the skills. He's got the release. He's definitely somebody. I mean, you can't. I don't think you go wrong with either one of them. Obviously injuries are going to be a question with everybody, but I mean, Celebrini's look great at every level he's played at now internationally. Obviously, played great in the Olympic team. Obviously, great. Like he plays good. No matter who he's with. In the championships after the season was over. But I mean, long term, is Celebrini going to be a better overall player than Bedard? I'm not saying yes, but I wouldn't be surprised. But at the same time, Bedard is definitely definitely a player that that these teams want to build around. I mean, he's not a huge player. I mean, there's always injury issues with a player that's not overly physical, but I mean, you could be average size or slightly above and still excel. I mean, the league is set up to protect the health of their talented players. Crosby's not a huge guy, but he's put up, numbers over many, many years. He's a generational talent. Some of the other guys are bigger. Guys like, Eichel's bigger, even McDavid's a little bigger. Obviously, Malkin's bigger. I mean, so like you can be, average size. If you can avoid the hits and stay out of the danger areas, but you still got to go there to score. So Bedard's shot is filthy. He's got great vision. I mean, he's got great wheels. I mean, he's a guy that you want to build your team around, but Celebrini's may have passed them in the overall superstar hierarchy right now, but I mean, I wouldn't write off Bedard yet. I mean, as that team gets better, they try to figure out what they're doing in Chicago. Yeah, Celebrini does play a pretty solid, full ice game. But Bedard is pretty decent all the way. Like he's not terrible. I mean, I don't think he's terrible defensively. But like I said, it's tough. The motivation might not be as there. Obviously, he's definitely a target every game, every shift. Celebrini has the ability to not quite be a target. And like San Jose, nobody really takes him seriously anyway. Chicago's a different animal. I mean, obviously, an original 16, they're going to have more pressure on them to succeed. And if they're slower building the team, but I think they're definitely hurt by the fact that their top defensive prospects haven't quite developed. I mean, they may be great players. Like Rinzel might be a talented power play quarterback or 3-4 defenseman. Levchinov could be a great number 2 guy, but if they don't feed either one of them as a franchise changing defenseman, I mean, and they think Byron could be. Like I said, it's not my money they're spending, and that franchise has to figure out what they're doing going forward. So it's a tough time. Obviously, the NHL, you worry about the caps, you worry about players. With that second contract, which is where they make the big bucks. Obviously, Byram's contract is going to be big bucks. So, not surprising that Buffalo got out from under it, with Darlene and Power, the 2 number 1 overall picks they have. They're going to pay those guys because they give them exactly what they want. Looks like Toronto's going to have to move on from Morgan Riley, who makes a lot of money, but not as much yet. I don't think Morgan Riley's ever going to make double digits, but he's making like 7.5 or 8 mil right now. So, Florida's gotten tougher. I'm not sure. Like I said, if I don't know if they're really serious about bringing Hellebuck in there. Obviously, they're a big money goalie. If they're going to let Bob walk, you're giving up a lot of money at your goalie if you let him walk. Bob's contract demands, if they're true or absurd, he's not going to be playing goal for the Panthers into his 44 and 45 year season. But so he's not getting 6 years. He's 38 now. If he wants a shorter term contract, maybe they can fit him in. But I mean, it's he had a down year, but the whole team did. So we'll see if what Florida wants to do in goal, because they need to shore that up if they want to seriously get back to being a cup contender. Because obviously Bob is who they rode to 2 cups, and they're going to have trouble filling that position. I mean, you can go into the playoffs. We proved it this year with goalies under 10 mil. Obviously, pairs of goalies making 10 mil sometimes in some cases, but I mean, it's not something you can do on a regular. It's not like there's no sustainable excess by doing that. I mean, you're not going to see, in Carolina, you had 3 goalies that they felt they could play, Kachekov, Bussy, and Freddie Anderson, and that doesn't work everywhere. Of course, your defensive system has to be able to play in front of your goalie. These teams have swapped back and forth. Logan Thompson, obviously in Vegas, and then he's one of the top goalies in the league in Washington. Obviously, Vegas is now hitched their wagon. They had Aiden Hill played in the finals for him. Now, look at Carter Hart was in the finals for him this year. It's tough. Like, goalies seem to be kind of interchangeable, but of course, sometimes they land in a spot where they kind of blossom, and teams can jump on their back and make runs for cups, and you catch lightning in the bottle. I mean, there's only so many, Vasilevskis or Shesterkins, or even guys like Carey Price, the guys that have retired recently that were franchise goalies. So it's a tough decision to make. When these teams, want to spend the money, do they want to spend the money on goalies? You want to have a guy that's 9, 10, 11 million, or you want to have 3 guys making, 4 or less than 5. So it's a tough call, because you got to get your wins, and your goalie can't be your weak point. As good offensively as teams are, or great defensively as they can be, if the goalie is giving up softies, I mean, that's all she wrote. So it's like I said, obviously the Leafs moved on from Wool. Sent him to Philly to play with Vladar. Is that enough to get the Flyers deep in the playoffs? I'm not sure. I mean, Vladar had a great season. I'm not sure if him and Wool are enough to get them, deep into the playoffs. But we'll see. Like I said, it's everybody's building ready for next year. Obviously, the draft tomorrow starting. We'll see if there's any more shakeups up top. Of course, right now, obviously, San Jose still has number 2. Leafs have number 1. Number 4, of course, has been dealt. So we'll see. We'll see what goes on there. Obviously, Vancouver is still at 3. Chicago dealt 4. Of course, and then have the Rangers at 5. So you got some pretty significant original 6 franchises up high, as well as the teams trying to build it back. I mean, Vancouver's not close, but they kind of need everything. So it's not like they should be trading out of their picks to collect talent, because they're not that close right now. In fact, people are kicking the doors, kicking the tires, seeing if guys like Pedersen can make it back into being an offensive talent, and whatever they can strip mine from that roster. It's probably better to think long term for Vancouver, but we'll see how it goes. Like you said, they've been to the finals, so they're a team that knows they can get there if you have the right team in place. But other than that, like I said, just one box tonight. The very last box until I get back from Florida for the double box on Sunday, July 5th. So we have 31 boxes tonight. Of course, July 5th will be at 30 and 29. Not adding anything to the stacks until then. Obviously, we probably a couple more weeks of breaks after I get back. Before I have to reload. I got a bunch coming from JSA, and then I have a couple here already in the bin, so probably half dozen or so. So I'm not seeing if I can get up to a dozen at least for the next reload, but we'll get down, I believe, to 25 or 24 if we do double boxes and a single box. So like I said, we'll be down to 30 after tonight, and then we can do 2 weeks of double box on Sunday and probably a Wednesday. So right now I have it tentatively scheduled for just Wednesday, the week we come back, which would be, what's that, the 8th, I guess. So the 5th is the double box, and then the 8th, July 8th, will be a single box. That's the next Facebook box will be July 8th. So, of course, we'll be down to 27 boxes that night? No, 28 boxes, because 30 and 29 on the 5th, and then 28 boxes. So the next Facebook claim will be just 28 boxes, nothing added to the stacks. We'll see what comes out tonight. I'm excited. I'm probably going to pack up what hits tonight and add it to the stuff I have upstairs. Get it into the mail tomorrow. I was able to get something to the mail today, so I should have time. You're going to do double boxing? Woo-hoo. I like when Daryl does double boxers. Now, tomorrow he's doing the single box claim he had yesterday and the freebie box claim. So if you have spots over in Daryl's, good luck to you. I'm rooting against you, so I would like to hit, but we'll see. Like I'd be okay with hitting one of my 2 boxes. So I'm not going to be greedy like that, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm assuming you guys got a lot of spots over at Daryl's, and nobody's got a lot of spots in the free box. I think there's only 3. There's 3 total left over. So just a couple of guys. Greg K actually grabbed one of the 3 today. So he's one of the few people with 2 spots in that break. So good luck to him. Good luck to everybody. Good luck to all of us. I would love to see some nice jerseys come out over there. So that's fun. Just watching Nick. I was in the break over in Whatnot tonight. There's some nice jerseys come out. Some nice stuff. Bill Radford Oilers came out. Daryl, of course, is on fire right now. He had Jacob Dobish over there. You guys got to break up the freight train, because we'll see if he's able to continue his heater here, but he is on fire. So I'm not rooting for or against anybody, but I know for a fact Daryl is on fire, whether it's over at Nick's or whether it's Big Al's. He's definitely warming up. So good luck to him. Good luck to us tomorrow. I believe noon is when he's doing his 2 boxes. So definitely we'll hit tonight, and then we'll sleep tight, and then we'll watch Daryl bust his boxes tomorrow. So it'd be cool to be another double box. So I'll be keep an eye on the Facebook pages even when I'm out. Obviously, I have to enter in everything to start Tuesday to end next Sunday. So those spots will go live after tonight. I know exactly what we're going to have to post, and those spots will go live Tuesday. I know Ron was asking me what's up with no spots starting Tuesday. I was like, hey, we're taking a week off. Obviously, he didn't watch the videos, but no boxes until Sunday's double box on the 5th. Just 1 box tonight. Good luck, everybody. Then settle in for the draft tomorrow after we watch Daryl's boxes in the morning. So good luck. Let me see what we got here. I didn't even see how many different people. We got Greg K in tonight, Mike Z. Mike Z with a first-time winner. Of course, it wasn't a spot he claimed. He won the community hit. He's in tonight as well. Good luck to him. See if he can go back to back. Big Al's got spots. Nick F's got spots. Thomas M. Mike H. James M. Who else we got? We got Daryl, of course. James M. I said Devin's in with spots. Ash D is in with spots. CK has some spots. Who else we got? Is that everybody? It's a pretty good crowd. So pretty good crowd. Just 31 boxes tonight. 1 in 3 chance. Basically, it'll be the most recent run, the one before it, or the older boxes. So we got 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, and then 9 from the second last reload, and still 12 from this most recent reload. So 31 boxes, 12, slightly more odds of a more recent box hitting. Definitely 21 of the 31 are from the last 2 reloads. So if you have your chips on one of those spots, good luck to you. The odds may ever be in your favor. So let's get to going. Okay. I think myself ready for Daryl's double box when we post that. So good luck, everybody, tonight. Where's my dice roller and my random? There we go. There's my list. I don't need that. That was from the Dion Phaneuf spot hit for the freebie, if anybody did not watch that. So here we go. Let me see. 31 boxes. That is correct. Okay, very good. Of course, we do 5 or more on a dice roll. So whatever the number hits, that's the amount of times we're going to random our box list. Boxes are always here in order until we hit. I think the oldest box might be from December. Everything else, I think maybe everything's from this year. That might be January. I can't remember how old the oldest reload is. But you see nothing between 17 and 43. So we did hit the entire run after that single box has been hit. And then there's 2, 3, and 3 from the next couple runs. And then another single box. So there is a single box. There's 2 single boxes. The only boxes we know what's in there. So there we go. So good luck, everybody. Let's get going. There it is. That's right. There's a single box there. So 5 or more on our dice roll. It is 7 times, of course, the most common die roll. 7 times we randomize our list. Let's do it. Good luck, everybody. I got to maybe pack up a little bit tonight, but we'll see. 1, 31 boxes. There it is. Good luck, everybody. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the box we're going to open tonight, last box until July 5th. eBay double box is our next break. Last box before them. Good luck, everybody. It's going to be box number 35. 35 from the reload. 35 it is. 7 times. 35. 7 times. 35. There it is. Box 35. Okay, very good. That takes one more read. That was the second box we've hit from this reload, which is pretty crazy. So there we go. Box 35, 7 times. Let me back that out. Like I said, I won't be needing that for till a week and a half, basically. Let me get that. 35. 35 it is. Dice roll, set that back up. Very good. Very good. Okay. Box 35. See if anybody want to make predictions? Prediction pain. Box 35. Box 35. Very, very nice. Let me see what we got here. 35. Okay.